Hi, Renee Keys here with Carolina Creative, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I'm here today to preview some of the new items that are coming in the mini catalog that will be released in just 3 more days. I'll give you just an idea of what the front looks like, but January 4th, this will go live. And so today, what I wanted to play with was this Stippled Roses stamp set. I've already switched gears into Valentine's Day, and so I had some ideas for this. Besides Mother's Day, I think this is going to have a lot of uses. And then because I'm thinking Valentine's Day, I'm going to steal some sentiments from another new set, and this is called Be My Valentine. It's really cute. I'll do some cards with this later, but right now I'm just going to steal some of the sentiments off that set. The other thing I'm going to use that's new is an embossing folder. It's called Softly Sophisticated. And let me hold this up. It gives you just a really nice texture, but it's very soft. It's very gentle. And then there's some gorgeous DSP that goes with that softly stippled. So I wanted to show this because my idea for today was to do kind of a non-traditional Valentine's Day card. So I'm staying away from red and pink. And I'm going to use this coral color instead, just to kind of make it pop and make it a little bit unusual. So I've already selected black as my card base. So I've got this cut and I've already scored it to make my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. So let me flip the camera down and we'll get started. What I want to do is to do my stamping first. I've got a piece of the Calypso Coral. My ink is already out. Calypso Coral cardstock. You can see how this is going to fit. I do still need to trim this piece of the Designer Series paper to make it match. And then you'll see what we're going to do with that. So I should be done cutting now so that I've got my card base in these 2 pieces. You got some idea how I'm going to put this together. And I've got an insert for inside the card. So I should be able to move this out of my way. And like I said, I want to stamp first, get all the stamping done, and then I'll do the embossing and I'll do the die cutting and everything else and assemble. And you'll see how quickly this should go together. So inside the card, I do want to use my Calypso Coral ink, and I want it to say Happy Valentine's Day. It's going to be something else on the front. So let me go ahead and stamp my sentiment. There we go. And then because I'm going to have roses on the front to coordinate with this paper, I'm going to put one on the inside too. And I'm not going to ink and press real hard. I just kind of want this to be a light little image of the rose. There we go. And that's exactly what I had in mind. So that we'll assemble that later, but that is going to go inside the card. Now, what I'm going to do is stamp 2 more. You see I have a scrap here. Stamp 2 more of these roses, and I'm going to cut these out using the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And so you see there are dies that come with this set, and I've already pulled out the die that will match up with this. Now, the one more thing I want to stamp is my sentiment that'll go on the front, and I'm going to do this in black. I want to pick up the really bold color of the background here, and then it'll be softened when I put all the Calypso Coral on it. So there we go, let's do this. I'm going to stamp. This is just a little hint of what's on the inside, which I think is kind of cool. And then I'm going to run this through the embossing machine and put texture on it. So now you can see the front is just simply going to say, love you. So since I've already got my plates here, I'm going to go ahead and do the die cutting first, and then we'll go back and emboss the texture on here. So I'm going to run it through the first time going this direction. There we go. Make my sandwich. And it's always easier for me to stand up and crank this through. There we go. So that's one rose cut out. I'll separate it here. And now I'm going to set it up and put the die around the next image. Whoop, I moved it after when I put the plate on. I was trying to make sure I was all squared up here and I shifted it. if you have that problem, you can use washi tape to hold it. I'm usually moving pretty fast, and so I don't typically do that. And then I do get it to shift sometimes, so I have to double check before I run it through. But there we go. I've got 2 pretty roses punched out. And now I'm going to switch to my gray plate here. And I'm going to grab, I had the embossing folder out. Now the question is, there we go. Right here, grab this embossing folder. It's one of these nice thick ones, so it does give you some dimension. And open this up. Butterfingers today. There we go. It's because it's brand new. It's a little slick. I'm going to put this in straight. I'll show you a trick. I like to line it up. There is a line. As soon as I get it positioned. There we go. There's a line here, and if I'm really trying to get something straight, I will use that to try to line up my image with the paper. So now I will put the embossing folder in here, my plate number 4, the gray plate on top, run it through, and because I stamped first, the texture will be on this whole piece of cardstock, including where the ink is. And so it's all together. So now I should be done with the embossing machine. I'm just going to shift it out of the way here. So what I'm envisioning as I assemble this, I'll go ahead and start from the inside and work my way out. So I'm going to put this piece on the inside. You see I got a little dot of glue here on the glass. I'm going to pick that up with my finger and just get rid of it. Okay, so put this on the inside. Press it down. Now, what I want to do is put the textured piece on the lower half, and then I'm going to put the pretty roses, the paper with the stippled roses on the upper half. So for this, I do want to use my Stampin' Seal, but the texture, this has a little bit more depth to it, and so I want to make sure it stays flat. So I will put Stampin' Seal on there, and that should really make it stick. So now I just need to make sure I've got it lined up, centered. I was always looking for equal border on the sides and then on the bottom. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this paper. And since I've got the Stampin' Seal out, I'll just keep using it. There we go. All the sides. And center this up. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, these roses already show a lot of texture. You can see the stippling. I'll hold it right up to the camera. You can see the stippling in the stamping, and it matches what's in the paper. So what I wanted to do is just make it look like 2 roses. I thought about coloring the leaves green and decided I really didn't want to add another color. I'm just trying to keep this very, let's just say monochromatic, with the black background to kind of make that pop. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to add here 1 flat, and then I'm going to use dimensionals on the other one to make it pop. Before I do that, I'm going to add a little Wink of Stella to this right now. Give it just the flower. I'm not going to do the leaves. I'm just going to do the flower. And if you can see, a little bit of the ink is being picked up, and it's giving a little more of that Calypso Coral color in the rose. And I'm perfectly happy with that. In fact, I could take the ink if I wanted to and add some more color, but I kind of like the contrast, so I think I'm going to leave it like that. So now, what I'm thinking is I'm going to, here we go, put some Stampin' Seal on this. And I like the big rose image here, so I don't want to cover too much of that up. Let's do that. Let's get out some dimensionals to put on the back of this one. It's probably going to take 3 or 4 to make sure it pops up good. We don't like our artwork to go flat. I'm going to do another little, just rip off a little piece on the edge here to make sure that that leaf that kind of sticks out there has some support behind it. All right, let me pick off. I should have used my Take Your Pick tool, but I just used my fingers on that. add the flower. I don't think I want them to overlap a whole lot, but a little bit. Kind of put it at a jaunty angle. So now I've got some matching coral ribbon. I'm going to just tie a small bow. I guess it could have been big on this card, but I was thinking, like I said, low key. So let me snug this up. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, tie a bow. And now I'm going to just use a glue dot or two. I'm usually pretty generous with the glue dots on these to make sure that that bow doesn't come off. So let me put 2 glue dots on the back of this and adhere it with the roses. And there you go. I have just made a Valentine's card. Something a little non-traditional in the coloring. But you can see how easily the sentiment could be changed. We could say love you on the front, and it could say thinking of you, get well soon, happy birthday, happy anniversary. You could put absolutely anything on the inside. But this is going to go with a whole group of Valentine's cards, so it should be pretty obvious what the intent is. It's just in a non-traditional color. So thank you for tuning in today. Stay tuned for some more. I already gave you a hint that I'm going to be working with those bees. I'll show you more about that stamp set soon, and then stay tuned for the new catalog that's releasing later in the week. See you soon.